So step 2 of the chicken project, after you've cut the piece to length, first step is to cut the board 6 to 8 inches long. The next step will be to mark. Step 2 is to mark out the center position for boring the round hole as follows. So it's going to be 2 1/8 inch in from the end of the board, and 1 7/8 inches down from the top edge of the board, and it's on the right hand side. This is the right hand side of the board. So I'll show you how to mark that out and how to drill that. To mark the board for drilling, what we're going to need is a ruler, a square, and a pencil. So we're marking the board from the end 2 1/8 inches over. So if you look at the ruler, there's our 2-inch mark. These markings on this side of the ruler are 1/8, so it's really easy just to go over 2. Remember, the 2 is not where the 2 is, but the line next to it, that long line. So I'm going to go 2 1/8 inch over, and the end of that is right at the end of the ruler. So I'm just going to make a little tick mark right there, and that's probably close enough. And I'm going to draw with the square, put the square against the edge. I'm just going to draw down a little bit. That's probably enough. We can drill right in the middle of those 2 lines. Then, according to the plans, we're 1 7/8 inches, which is 1/8 inch less than 2. So there's the 2. 7/8 is right there. And we don't need to draw a real long line. I'm just going to put the square on the end of the board. Let's make sure it's up against the edge. I'm going to move it up to my mark. Leave a little room for my pencil. And right there. So right there is the X marks the spot. We're gonna drill right in there. Step 3 of the project of drilling the hole is to drill the hole, and we're going to use a 1-inch auger bit and a brace to do that. So what you do is you have to put the square end of the auger into the chuck and just snug it down like that. And what we're going to do is drill right in here. The best way to do that is put the whole thing in a vise, just like this. Right. Now you can't see the side I'm drilling at because I'm on this side of the vise, but you'll see the point come through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the very point of the auger on my X marks the spot, and I'm going to hold the whole thing. I put my hand like this behind it, hold the auger and the drill level parallel with the floor, and I'm going to turn it in a clockwise direction like that. And I'm just going to drill a little bit until I feel the point come through. You can have somebody watch it if you want. So right there, you can see that. Hopefully you can see it on the video. You can see the point start to come through right there. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to back it the other way, turn it counterclockwise. And then we're going to turn the whole thing around so that hole right there is now facing me. And put the point of the drill back in the hole. And we're going to turn that clockwise again, and it should cut all the way through like that. Step 4, we need to mark. We're going to cut a chamfer in the front of the chicken, or in the top part of the chicken. And where the chamfer is, you can see, hopefully you can see in this, from this one, it's just a flat spot on the same side as if we have the hole on the right, the round hole, it's just above it. And you can see there's the edge here, and there's the other edge. This one's a little tapered. It's not supposed to be like that, but you can see there's the edge and there's the other edge. So I'll show you how to lay that out. So if you look at the directions, it is 3/8 of an inch in from the front edge and 3/8 of an inch down from the top corner there. So they've got this corner. Basically, we're just going to take that off to make the flat spot. So here's how you do that. So we got to make sure we're on the right spot. So we want the holes to the right. So we want the chamfer right along this corner right here. What I do, you can just this is a 3/4 inch thick piece of wood. So half of 3/4 is 3/8. If you could just eyeball the middle. I'm just making a mark right there. And what I'm doing is I'm taking my finger, this finger right here, and I'm kind of running it against the edge of the board, like that. You see how I'm doing that? So I'm just going to hold it. I'm just going to hold the pencil and just kind of hold everything steady and run it right along the edge of the board. Now when you get to the end here, it gets a little tricky because your thumb kind of runs off, or your finger kind of runs off. You can kind of keep it on there with this finger then. Now you're going to hold that, not changing the grip, and you're just going to go to transfer it to the front. And I'm running the finger along the top edge, the edge of the board now. So I'm just going to do that one more time. Like that. Okay, and that's where we're going to cut our chamfer. So to cut the chamfer, we're going to use a bench plane. And normally, this is facing the camera because I don't have a way to hold it that I'll hold the camera in it on the other side. So normally I would have the piece of wood turned around this way and I would go this way, but I'm going to try and do it kind of this way, which isn't really the best way. I'll show you how I would normally do it in a second. But basically, we're going to start planing. So we're planing halfway between, this is flat and this is 90, so 0, 90, and we're planing a 45-degree angle. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball halfway between here and here. And I'm going to hold the plane and I'm going to start taking a shaving. I'm just leaving it right at that. Now you can see those, I'm making shavings, and those shavings should be getting wider and wider as this flat spot. Now I'm just going to look at it, and I can see I probably have to tilt it this way toward this line a little more, so I'm going to do that. And the shaving's not quite as thick. Now it's getting thicker. And I'm going to do a little bit and look. And it's looking pretty good. So eventually what's going to happen, this edge here is going to end on that line. You can see that. And then this edge is going to end on this line. So the way I would normally do it, I'm going to turn this around and do it, and then I'll show you what it looks like at the end. I'm going to turn this way. That way I'm standing. Here it's more natural. It's not kind of cross-handed. I'm going to hold it on this side, and I'm using my finger as a guide against the front of the board. I'm just going to start cutting. Do a little bit, and I'm going to stop and look, check my lines. I still need to cut closer to the line that's on the front, so I'm going to tilt my plane a little more this way. Right now it's too flat. I'm going to tilt it a little more. I'm going to do a little bit and look. You can hear me coming all the way back off. And you can hear me the plane blade bumping like that. I think you can hear that. So far, this is looking pretty good. I'm going to keep going. I actually want to kind of leave the lines. I kind of split them. Make a nice flat spot. Tighten this down again. So we don't want it round. We don't want it multifaceted. See how that shaving's getting wider and wider? And that's probably good. Like I said, it's just for the effect. We're going to have a nice edge. We got a little chamfer there, and that's how you do step 4.